The war right now is between Hamas and Israel, and all the spotlight is on the Gaza Strip. But what about the other Palestinian territory, the West Bank? Well, the two Palestinian territories are controlled by two different parties, Hamas and Fatah. Now, the agenda of the two parties are the same, which is to have an independent state of Palestine. The major differences are that their method and the recognition of Israel. The 1967 border is the change in frontier after the Six-Day War. Now, this is a war which was a culmination of Fatah's armed resistance in the 60s. Yes, Fatah was not always the diplomatic party, but let's get to that later. So what happened was that after this war, Israel occupied the Sinai Peninsula, the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and most of the Syrian Golan Heights, effectively tripling the size of the territory under Israel's control. Israel claimed the whole of East Jerusalem as its capital. Effectively, the problem between Hamas and Fatah started when Hamas defeated Mahmoud Abbas's Fatah party in parliamentary elections in 2006. Hamas then pushed Fatah out of Gaza when the latter refused to recognize the result of the vote. Hamas and Fatah have ruled the occupied Palestinian territories of the Gaza Strip and the West Bank respectively ever since. Fatah wasn't always the party that took the diplomatic route. Fatah was founded by several people, most notably the late president of the Palestinian Authority, Yasser Arafat, his aides Khalil al-Wazir and Salah Khalaf, and Mahmoud Abbas, who is the current president of the Palestinian Authority. The premise was to liberate historic Palestine by taking up arms. In 1965, Fatah began its armed struggle against Israeli occupation, with Jordan and Lebanon serving as the base. Although the 1967 war resulted in Israeli expansion of territory, Fatah under Yasser Arafat became the dominant party in the Palestinian Liberation Organization, which comprises numerous Palestinian political parties. The PLO was created in 1964 with the goal to liberate Palestine, and today acts as the representative of Palestinian people at the United Nations. Hamas is not a part of the PLO. So Fatah was eventually pushed out of Jordan and Lebanon in the 1970s and 80s. It is at this point that the movement underwent a fundamental change, choosing to negotiate with Israel rather than taking up arms. The Hamas movement was founded in Gaza in 1987 by Imam Sheikh Ahmed Yazin and his aide Abdul Aziz al-Rantisi shortly after the start of the uprising against Israel's occupation of the Palestinian territories. The movement started as an offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt and created a military wing to pursue an armed struggle against Israel with the aim of liberating historic Palestine. Hamas also provided social welfare programs to Palestinian victims of the Israeli occupation. Now, Hamas defines itself as a Palestinian Islamic national liberation and resistance movement. It is important to note how Islam is used as a frame of reference here. Anyway, in 2017, Hamas broke ties with the Muslim Brotherhood and said it would accept a Palestinian state on the 1967 borders with the return of Palestinian refugees. What this triggered was fear among loyalists that Hamas was giving up on the cause. But Hamas at the time said that its sole purpose is to liberate Palestine and that the establishment of Israel is illegal. This is what sets them apart from those parties part of the PLO. The on-ground sentiment is crystal clear. The West Bank has expressed solidarity with Gaza, and several have termed the killings in Gaza as genocide. In Hebron, thousands of men and women took to the streets waving the flags of both Hamas and Fatah. They carried signs that read, "Stop the Gaza genocide," and US capitalism is addicted to war.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.